All right. So we're gonna run through a league with this Golgari Stompy, mostly green Stompy, although Riding Regisaur definitely fits in what this deck's trying to do. Yeah, we're gonna run through a league with this and see how it goes. Golgari Stompy, join. Play match. This league hopefully also should go faster than Sultai Delirium, where we spent an entire hour in a mirror match with Niv Mizzet, 5-color Niv. 5-color Niv is another deck I've sort of looked at. I've sort of thought about trying. Again, I think it'd be really fun. If I'm gonna play a mid-range deck, I think I enjoy Sultai Delirium more, but I think they're both probably good. I think Sultai Delirium, like, if depending on how you feel about deck construction, I feel like Niv to Light is the sort of deck that builds itself more. I think there's a lot more variety in how you want to build your Sultai Delirium decks. There definitely is a lot of choice in how you want to do, how exactly you want to do Niv as well. Just what particular cards you want to run in the particular guilds. So, not sure if I should keep this hand. We run 8 1-mana creatures, so you really want to get a Steel Leaf Champion out on turn 2. This hand has Scrap Heap Scrounger on turn 2. We're not even guaranteed to land a big threat on turn 3. But having 3 strong threats makes me still kind of want to keep it. Also, we have a Thoughtseize that we can Thoughtseize on turn 1 to try to clear a path. I think I'm going to keep this. I'd be interested in knowing if somebody who actually plays this deck would keep this hand, because I could definitely see a world where you don't keep this. Sultai Oko. Did I say Oko? I meant Uro. I never actually played any formats with Oko when Oko was legal, which I'm kind of sad about. Like it definitely would have been up my alley. Sort of mid-rangey Oko doing a bunch of stuff, but that's fine. Don't know what our opponent is doing here. Yeah, Oko is Oko. I mean, I did play the formats where Oko was legal in. Like, I played Modern for a while. I just didn't play Oko decks because I didn't want to buy Okos. I wasn't doing this rental stuff at the time. But I didn't, or maybe I was, but Oko was just too expensive to rent, as same sort of situation with Uro. Like, I actually bought some Urzas and played, like, Urza Thopter Sword stuff. When that deck was, like, you know, supposed to be running Oko, because it was Oko, I just didn't want to invest in Oko, so I played, like, blue-red instead of blue, or, like, Grixis instead of because I think they used to be Sultai Urza decks, and so I was sort of playing Grixis instead, and I touched red for Galvanic Blast and what's that Modern Horizon, Goblin Engineer, because you could tutor Sword of the Meek into your graveyard with the Engineer, and then go off with Thopter Sword from there. Anyway, we're not playing that right now. We are playing Golgari Stompy, and we're going to see what you are playing. You are playing Niv to Light. Okay. So I want to take your answers to my big stuff. Bring to Light is sort of an answer to my big stuff. Utter End also is. Teferi also is. Actually not sure what I'm supposed to take here. Like, I think I kind of want to be really winning the game before Bring to Light comes down. That may not be feasible. I think I take the Utter End just because it's a clean answer to one of my cards. Yeah, I love playing Urza. I mean, it's definitely like, this Teferi is going to make life annoying because I'm going to play a Steel Leaf Champion. Actually, I'm going to have Scrap Heap Scrounger. I'm going to play a Steel Leaf Champion. They're going to bounce it. I'm going to play it again. Then they have one turn, and then they get to Bring to Light, and I assume that they'll be able to Bring to Light for a Wrath of some sort, so I'll probably hold back a Rotting Regisaur if I can, which is difficult because Rotting Regisaur is going to make me discard. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work out. Our opponent is not playing quickly. One thing, one sort of, I don't know, out we definitely have is the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Like, we'll play out the Scrounger, we'll play out, assuming we draw a land, which, if we don't draw a land, we'll be in a lot of trouble. But we'll play out the Scrap Heap Scrounger, we'll play out one of our 3-mana threats. Probably the Steel Leaf Champion, so we don't have to be discarding. But we'll be able to buy back these Scrap Heap Scroungers at some point. If our opponent manages to escape Uro, that won't matter too much. Okay, we didn't draw a land, but we drew a Llanowar Elves, which is kind of just as good. I guess I would have rather done that than cast the Scrap Heap Scrounger. So that's fine. Would have much rather drew a land so that I could play a land Scrap Heap Scrounger, but this is fine. I wonder if I should play Rotting Regisaur over Steel Leaf Champion, because I could play Rotting Regisaur, discard the Scrap Heap Scrounger, because I've got plenty of stuff to be doing with that 3 mana. Our opponent, no, we went first. So they played their land. Our opponent played these things. It's fine. Alright, it's my upkeep. Can I go, please? You don't need to be sitting around in my upkeep. Okay. Is there any merit to playing Mystic Scrounger? I don't think so. I think we just need to be trying to kill our opponent now. I guess the merit to playing Mystic Scrounger is that if our opponent plays Teferi, because we know our opponent has Teferi. Because we just play like a Steel Leaf Champion, it just gets bounced, and we wasted our whole turn. Yeah, okay, I've talked myself into it. This feels kind of wrong, but I feel like this plays around Teferi better. Doomswitch has lost connection to the game. I guess that explains why they were playing slowly. So now with the Teferi Plus, we can kill the Teferi. Although we then won't be able to cast anything else if we don't play a land. So actually, if our opponent plays Teferi and pluses and we do not draw a land, I think we just hit the Teferi with Scrap Heap Scrounger and maybe with Elvish Mystic, just to put Teferi down to 2, so that Teferi can't bounce, and then we can play a Rotting Regisaur or a Steel Leaf Champion. I think I want to preserve as many of these 3-mana threats as I can, so it probably would not be Rotting Regisaur. Meanwhile, we are playing a Caryatid and no land question mark. You could still be playing a land. Caryatid makes it harder to get through at a theoretical Teferi. Although if our opponent just passes, yeah, okay, we like this. We like this a lot. Okay. Yeah, so now we can attack with everything, and we get through for an extra damage. And yeah, we're going to play the Steel Leaf Champion to keep as many of these 3-mana cards as we can. Steel Leaf Champion nicely cannot be blocked by Sylvan Caryatid. If we draw a land, we may actually not play it as discard fodder for the Rotting Regisaur. Yeah, this is a Teferi that's going to bounce the Seal of Champion, it looks like. But we can kill it with just a single Elvish Mystic. Swing for 4, replay the Seal of Champion. That's fine. That's fine. I wonder if we actually play the Rotting Regisaur instead. Because it represents more damage. Probably not, because our opponent will untap with the Sylvan Caryatid. I'm just wondering if the extra damage will become relevant. Actually, we have 6 mana now, so we can deploy 2 threats, which is bad against Bring to Light. So I don't think we actually do that. I actually think I play the Rotting Regisaur because I think it's likely that our opponent will play a Wrath of some variety next turn via the Bring to Light. And so I want to play, because if we get to a point where we have 2 Rotting Regisaurs in hand, it's very likely we're going to have to discard one to the other. So first, we're going to attack Teferi, attack you, kill a Teferi. That's fine. Then we're going to cast this Rotting Regisaur. If it survives when we discard a card, we'll discard the Overgrown Tomb, that's fine. We also had the option to play Steel Leaf Champion and have Rotting Regisaur, but I think that's just really bad in the face of potentially Bring to Light for Supreme Verdict, or Bring to Light for Solar Flare is something that I've seen this deck run. Like, this line I think nicely forces a Wrath and then has access to as many threats after the Wrath as possible. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, they can Bring to Light for this. I just sort of assume that this is able to Bring to Light for whatever they need. This is red, black, blue, green, white. Yeah. Yeah, they can Bring to Light for 5. And I assume they would get a Wrath, although I guess they could get Niv Mizzet. That might be better. My opponent might also be considering, like, just playing the arrow, padding their life total, and then chumping the Rotting Regisaur with the Sylvan Caryatid. Which doesn't actually seem like an unreasonable line. But no, they're going to Bring to Light. We'll see what they get. They got Niv Mizzet. Okay. Okay. Do I attack into this Niv Mizzet? I mean, I attack with the Rotting Regisaur. Do I attack with the other creatures? I think I attack with the Elvish Mystics. Like... I think I do. Yeah, this is fine. Well, let's see what they get. Like, I could also just play out my hand next turn. Play the Regisaur and the Steel Leaf Champion. That seems pretty good. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, we got a Bring to Light and an Abrupt Decay. Okay. We will discard this Overgrown Tomb. We'll draw a land to replace it. Okay, so knowing that our opponent drew a Bring to Light, they have access to another Wrath if they want it. So we're not going to play out both of our creatures. We may still play one, depending what happens here. Given that we're not attacking with both, we can attack with our Elvish Mystics. I don't think our opponent will just eat an Elvish Mystic. I mean, they could go to 5. And what I'm really leaning towards is attacking with everything. I think our opponent will trade the Niv for the Rotting Regisaur, and then just bring to light for another another Niv. But I like just attacking with everything here. Yep, that's fine. We'll play another one. We have a force to discard to the Running Regisaur. Like I assume this turn is just going to be a repeat of last turn. They're going to play a Niv. They're going to draw some cards. We'll attack with everything. They have to trade off again, and then they're at 2, and we have a Scrap Heap Scrounger that can come back. They could also Wrath. I would be kind of okay with that. We've measured out our threats reasonably well. We would get to have a Steel Leaf Champion. We wouldn't get to get Steel Leaf Champion and Scrap Heap Scrounger back in the same turn. You're playing an Uro. Yeah, I guess I know that you have an Abrupt Decay, so that's you're gonna Abrupt Decay the Rotting Regisaur. But you have to tap. Well, you can tap block. Okay. So are you gonna? I assume the Sylvan Caryatid is gonna block just an Elvish Mystic then. Yeah. Okay. So those arrows gone. So I'm gonna have to discard my force to the Rotting Regisaur, which is fine. You're going to Abrupt Decay the Rotting Regisaur. I get to swing in. I assume my opponent will end up taking 4, because I assume Caryatid will block Llanowar Elves. Caryatid could also soak up more damage by blocking Scrap Heap Scrounger. But then the Caryatid would die, and there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to cast the Bring to Light. I guess maybe they will, depending on whatever happens here. And then I'll play my Steel Leaf Champion. Which... I mean, playing the Steel Leaf Champion means that, like, they have a Bring to Light in hand. They have 7 cards in their hand. Like, Abrupt Decay Bring to Light is just what I know about. So I definitely need some help here. My opponent could also time out. I mean, at the rate this is going, like... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just keep sitting here. Doom Switch is apparently a somewhat well-known grinder. They have a Twitter anyways. Alright, so you do a breeding pool. Okay. Discard a forest. Ronus. Ronus is interesting. Alright, well, we're gonna attack. I wonder if I want to play Ronus instead of Steel Leaf Champion. Yep, this is what I was expecting. Yep. Yep. You go to 6. Okay, so if I play the Ronus, Like, the reason I like playing the Ronus is because I expect the Ronus to live through the Bring to Light. It's like there's definitely situations where Ronus doesn't get to attack next turn, but I mean on the surface I can play Steel Leaf Champion and attack with Ronus. If they have a removal spell for the Steel Leaf Champion, I'm really unhappy. But I think it's better than just playing Steel Leaf Champion into a known Bring to Light, which can just get a Wrath. Like, I don't think I win that way. I know some Niv decks run Hour Devastation, which would remove the Indestructible. So I could lose the Ronus to that. But I'd be losing the Steel Leaf Champion anyway, and like, if there's going to be a Wrath, I would rather lose the Ronus and play a Steel Leaf Champion onto an empty board than play the Ronus onto an empty board. This is fine. Sure. What is this? Is this Nahiri exiling Scrapheap Scoundrel? No, it's an Escape Turbo. Okay. This is less good. Oh, Uro. This is just the format of Uro, isn't it? Alright, well, at this point... I mean, I still don't want to just play out my whole board because of the Bring to Light. But I guess at this point I have to. Actually, yeah, because the Ronus will live through the Bring to Light, so that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting through an Uro with what I have now. Sure. I'm not attacking into that. Okay. Let's go. If there's Bring to Light for Hour of Devastation, I'm pretty unhappy. I could probably scoop at that point, yeah. Because this kills everything. In theory, I can get a Scrapheap Scoundrel back. But my opponent's going to start Uroing every turn. Yeah. Sure. If I really cared, I would make my opponent waste more time on their clock, because it looks like they're going to have trouble doing things like that. But that's fine. Okay, Niv. Noxious Grasp kills Niv. Necromentia. How good is Necromentia for, like, Niv? Like, their deck is really bad if they have no Nivs. But they can still, like, Bring to Light for other stuff. Shaper Sanctuary. Whenever a creature you control becomes target of spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. I feel like that's not going to happen enough. Is there anything that's bad? Noxious Grasp killed Niv. Kills some Planeswalkers. I feel like I don't want... Like, I actually am seriously considering this Necromentia. I mean, I know it's usually for a combo deck, but... Niv just generates so much value, and they have ways to tutor up Niv. The only reason I'm debating is because the Bring to Light... Like, it's not like it shuts off the Bring to Lights. The Bring to Lights are still really good. I'm gonna try it. We'll see what happens. I feel like the Great Henge is... I'm not sure... Great Henge feels like a grindy card, and I feel like grinding is not exactly where I want to be at with this deck. Galtas, Surox. Like, a lot of these cards just sort of die to various wraths that my opponent could have. We'll see. We'll see. I like Heart of Heron because it's gonna live through wraths. Maybe Aronis could have come out. Like, I don't really like creatures that are relying on other creatures. Actually, I can still make this change, right? I don't know if the change went through. Yes, I would like to go first. This is a very painful hand, but it casts Steely's Champion on turn 2, so I'll keep. I, like, really don't care about my life total. Like, I can just go turn 2 Steel Leaf. Actually, maybe I should go turn 2 Rotting Regisaur. It's just a faster clock. Yeah, I'm kind of down with that. Just like have a pair of 7/6s. That seems good. We'll discard the Scrap Heap Scrounger because it can come back anyway. So I just cast this for free? Or I cast this for green, and then I tap it to cast another Rotting Regisaur. I don't think my opponent can deal with that. Yeah, so I only attack with the Rotting Regisaur. And then I cast this. And I tap this. Oh, this doesn't make black. Oops. Okay, well, I guess I have to cast Steely's Champion then. Sure. Fine. The Ronuses did make it into the sideboard. Okay, we'll run it back. This sort of goes back to what I was thinking about at the beginning of game 1, when I had that hand that didn't have a mana dork, and so it didn't really start doing things until turn 3. This game, I was able to start playing Rotting Regisaurs on turn 2, which really ran my opponent over. So maybe you really should aggressively mulligan hands that don't have a mana dork. At least on 7. I need to update the stream title. All right, match point. Yeah, so this is that hand where I don't start playing things until turn 3 on the draw. So I think I'll mulligan this at least to 6. This has a mana dork, but I need to draw a land. I still think I keep it. I can tuck a Galta, because Galta. Our opponent is on 6. There's a land, although we do not have any, do not have black mana, so we can't cast the Rotting Regisaur. We can still cast a Garruk's Harbinger. But if I draw black mana, nope. Okay. Harbinger it is. Hexproof from black. That'll stop like a Dreadbore. Sure. Come on, black mana. This is 5 cheaper right now, so it costs 7 mana. We're nowhere near that, really. I can play Scrounger Elvis Mystic this turn. Yeah. Okay. 2/5. Let's take another Garruk's Harbinger, I guess. Reveal, yes. Click a card to put. Look at that many cards. You may reveal a creature card and put it into your hand. Click a card to put in your hand. Yes, I'm clicking it. It's highlighted, so I guess I click done. Okay, I really would have expected it to just go into my hand, but that's fine. Alright. I think that's about where I stop for Fear of a Wrath. Scrappy Scatter doesn't come back at this point. Do I cast Galta with this? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can cast Galta at this point, but not when you cast Solar Blaze. Okay. That's fine. Four cards in hand. Again, I just sort of assume that my opponent's lands tap for everything. Black, green, white, blue. They need a blue. None of these tap for blue or red, so they need a land that taps for blue or red to Niv or bring to light for Niv. That should work. Am I getting Niv'd? It would appear that I'm getting Niv'd. We got a Dreadbore, Bring to Light. Oh, did we get Bring to Light or no? We got Uro. Okay. Well, that comes into play tapped. We're not attacking. It's Hexproof from black, not protection from black. A forest would let us cast Rotting Regisaur and Galta. That would be interesting. Or any untapped green source. That's interesting. Am I interested in Heart of Kirin? I guess it doesn't attack through Niv. If we get to untap with this board state, we probably discard Rotting Regisaur because we can cast Galta and Heart of Kirin. Okay, we're doing nothing. Our opponent's doing nothing. They have a Dreadbore that they're not casting. That's interesting. I do want to try not to play into a Wrath, but opponent doesn't have this Uro. The problem is if I don't cast this Galta, like I can only cast this Galta when I have a large board, so I might as well just cast it now. Yeah, like otherwise I'm just going to be discarding cards to the Rotting Regisaur, although I expect my opponent to block here. I don't think Stick ever runs counterspells. But I do sort of expect my board to just die pretty quickly. What now? Sure. Okay, that's the Heart of Kirin. Our opponent's at 18. They're at a very healthy life total. And they're just niving again. Yeah, don't think we win this game. There's a Teferi, there's a Scarab God. There's just those. But it is a Teferi. We have a Heart of Kirin, but we can't get the Heart of Kirin through the Niv Mizzet. It's a Surok. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Next turn I could play Surok. Give Surok haste. This doesn't really do anything. Like, if they attack with Niv Mizzet... Well, now they have Scarab God in play. Pretty sure I'm not getting through this. I mean, they have to leave Niv back on defense. Oh yeah, I have a Scrap Heap Conjure in my graveyard. Forgot about that. I mean, I could play Surok and have Surok get haste. Doesn't really seem to do anything. I mean, I guess at some point if I get another Galta somehow, I can, like, maybe Galta and give Galta haste. Don't find that exceptionally likely, though. I should probably get the Scoundrel back for my opponent, like... Well, too late. My opponent just Scarab God the Scrap Heap Conjurer. Oh gosh, my opponent... Well, they're always going to be 4/4s. Sure. Sure. I feel like this means my opponent is going to cast another Niv. Nope, they're just ending. And I can't get my Scrap Heap Conjurer back, which is unfortunate. I was hoping these matches with Green Stompy would be faster, but it's not really working out that way. Our opponent isn't really helping. Our opponent has spent 19 minutes of this match. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if our opponent is streaming. So I like play Surok here. Scrap Heap, Cruise, Heart of Kirin. Surok gives himself haste. And I attack for a lot of damage. I guess I leave back an Elvish Mystic to block. I mean, I think I'm just trying to kill you. I don't know. I don't see this working, but I have to do something. Sure, get back a 4/4. Trade 4/4s. Sure. Take 9? Oh right, you can play these at instant speed. Okay, I've seen enough. Come on, let's get faster opponents here. Alright. Sam Bran. 414. Yes, I would like to go first. This is an awful hand. I think that's just absolutely awful. Okay. This hand is also extremely bad. Like, I have a Galta and a Great Henge. Yeah, no, there's no defending this hand. This hand needs help, but it's a keeper. Yeah. That's that. Hope I draw untapped land. Well, that doesn't matter. Still hope I draw untapped land because I'm gonna need it. Nope, all my creatures are dying. Okay. That's how you gotta do it. That's how you gotta do it. I haven't drawn a second land anyway, so it's not like this is actually affecting much. Well, if I had a second Elvish Mystic in play. But still, by and large. Stomp. Charter Course. Okay, so this I think is just, yeah, this is Phoenix. Okay, well, it's Phoenix. And a Wild Slash. Okay. There's a land that I could have used. I guess I couldn't have actually used it. My opponent never left me with a dork in play. Thing in the ice? Sure. I feel very dead. Okay, opt. Do you have 3 spells? Do you get a Phoenix back? Is this just a Drake? Oh, sure. Yeah, that's 3 spells. So this is an attack for 10. Yeah. No, I'm dead. I'm very dead. I'm just curious to see what you discard the chart, of course. Because I'm gonna, yeah. You get the Phoenix back. I take 10. I take 10 next turn. I mean, this whole game is a sad moment. I multi 5. They had removal spells for my first 3 mana dorks. I never drew my extra land. They discarded another thing in the ice. Okay. I mean, at least this one was fast. I'm kind of okay with all this. Okay, so Scavenging Oozes, Shaper Sanctuary seems really good. Push, Agonizing Remorse, Noxious Grasp is green and white. That's not what I want. Thoughtseize is... I always thought you don't want to Thoughtseize against Phoenix decks, but I've been told you should, so I guess I'll leave them in. I feel like Great Henge is just not exactly where I want to be at. Not even sure I see exactly the value in this card. It seems more like a win more card. All these other cards seem great. Heart of Kieran. Do I want Heart of Kieran's? I feel like I do. Yes, I would like to play first. I don't even have 3 drops to accelerate into, so this feels like a mulligan. This hand looks good. It's not ideal, but I at least get to curve into Rotting Regisaur. I feel like it has to be this Galta. I feel like my opponent's just not going to let me have enough stuff in play to play it. That said, Heart of Kiran also doesn't seem great. Let's see if you kept a shock. I assume you did. You seem like a deck with a lot of shocks in it, especially post-board. Yep. Surprise, surprise. We will, so... I want to play the Heart of Kiran first because it can attack. Like, neither of these are going to attack this turn, and they'll both get to attack next turn, and I would rather attack the Heart of Kiran. Yeah, it took me a second to work that out. Also, the Scrap Heap Scrounger doesn't die to removal spell this turn, which is nice. Yeah, the Heart of Kiran basically is just going to give all my creatures haste. That's a thing in the ice. Okay, well, I will play this untapped. Crew the Heart of Kiran. I feel like my creatures are not going to be long for the battlefield. My opponent can also line things up probably to flip the thing in the ice on my turn to bounce the Heart of Kiran. But I can at least, like, I can play... Next turn I can play Scrap Heap Scrounger, Crew the Heart, attack for 9. Like, I assume my opponent will be able to cobble together a requisite number of spells. They're not going to have 4 spells this turn. This is Pioneer, not Modern. Ooh, Ronus. Ronus. Sure. It's more mana efficient, it's not going to die. Aether Gust. Okay. Do I want to draw Ronus again? I feel like it's just as good as anything else I could be drawing. So sure. And I can go ahead and attack with the Steel Leaf Champion because Thing in the Ice can't block it. One of the interesting things here is that Rotting Register is going to be able to block the flip Thing in the Ice. Pretty fine. Actually, no, it can't. This is a 7-8. May have to do some double blocking, which might actually work out. Are they flipping this turn? That would leave my Heart of Kiran in play. My opponent's at 9. I like my chances. Okay. So I don't think... Oh, jeez. Okay, so if I play the Ronus and I crew the Heart of Kiran, I let myself maybe get blown up by getting everything bounced. It's possible my opponent just doesn't have it. If I play around it, what happens? I attack with the Steel Leaf Champion. I put my opponent to 4. Then the Heart of Kiran is lethal. So I think I'm totally fine to play around it. Okay, Heart of Kiran is lethal. I would prefer to play the creature that can unconditionally attack. In theory, I guess I could have won by crewing the heart and attacking, but I think it's worth playing around. No, but this still doesn't block a flyer. Okay. Sure. So you bounce my stuff. Don't think I care. Because I have a Heart of Kirin. I mean, unless you have, like... Finale of Promise is a sorcery, right? Okay. Let's see what you've got. I'll do this with... I guess I can do this, play this, and crew with Scrap Heap's Cruncher. Because I might get a card out of something. Crew. Attack. If you have like a lightning... Okay. So you have a thing. I get to draw a card. Yes. Okay. I guess now if you have 2 spells, but what are you can't... Okay, so... I wanted to play this... I wanted to play something that can threaten lethal. Because this Scrap Heap Scrounger does not threaten lethal. It also can't even block. It can't attack through the O4. Okay. Okay. This is actually very bad. Yeah, I put myself in a really bad spot. Because I can't... The Scrap Heap Scrounger can't block, but it also does no good to attack. So, like, I'm literally just playing out shump blockers right now. Yeah. Yeah, because all these 3-power creatures are just... All these 3-mana creatures are just the same as any other 3-mana creature. I can't play the Ronus because it can't block. Wow, this is unfortunate. If I draw land, then I can play 2 3-mana creatures. Even Aether Gust anyway. Okay, well that's lethal. Okay. Match 3. This may end up just sort of going the same way Boros Feather did on Monday. Just went 0-4, and I won the last match, but still. Or did I win the last match? I won one match. I went 1-4. So, was my line where I plan to attack with the Heart of Kirin wrong? Hey, thanks Alpha Channel. Haven't had too much luck today, but of course now that you've wished me good luck, I will have good luck. Huzzah. That's Chris, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else? I would like to play first. Again, one of those hands that I think you're supposed to mulligan, because I think you're supposed to mulligan for the Elvish Mystic hand. Yep, that is you. I remember you. Like, is this hand better? It doesn't have black mana in it, so it doesn't buy back Scrap Heap Scroungers. I think I try one more time. This could be okay. Emphasis on could be. I'll take the Riding Register because I don't have black mana. And let's see if this works out better than against, is it Phoenix, where they kill my first 3 mana dorks. Mana Confluence, Elvish Mystic. What deck runs Elvish Mystic Mana Confluence? Mana Confluence make me think Nivtalite, but I don't think they run Elvish Mystic. Is this like a Winota deck, maybe? Could be a Winota deck. I think generally I want to trade this because my Scrap Heap Scoundrel will come back eventually. And I think I'd rather just play the bigger creature. Nope, not black. What's been up with you, Chris? How's life? What's, how are things? Pia and Kieran Nalar. I think this is a Winota deck. It looks like a Winota deck. Do I block? Bought an apartment, nice, nice. Do I block? I feel like I do block just because I'm probably not going to be able to in the future. Like, it is very tempting to go, like, take it, put you to 9, play another Steel Leaf Champion, which in theory threatens lethal, but then you just leave the elemental back to block. Are you still at the place we used to work at? I don't want to say, I don't know. I don't really know what like the protocol is for like talking to people you know personally on Twitch. Since the conversation, I mean, I guess it only stays archived for a little while, although I am posting these VODs to YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, 3 Winota triggers. Not much. And we get Ingress Marauders. Yeah, it's funny, like, I've had friends from school pop in, and I'm like, I don't know if I should be saying your, like, actual name, or I don't know. So this doubles and doubles again, so this is... I'm doing this more for science. I think this is a trade. I'm also just kind of doing this for science. Oh, right, you also just killed me. Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm very much in that, like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life sort of phase. What do I want against Naya Winota? I feel like Fatal Pushing 1 or 2 of the small creatures could be relevant. What's bad? Is anything bad? Thoughtseize is probably good. I still just don't like these Great Henges. I just feel like they're very win more. Shadow Spear feels like it could be okay. This can kill a Winota. Maybe I don't want the Fatal Pushes then. That is a language I do not understand. I shall enlist the help of Google to understand what you have said. Yeah, okay. I see. Oh hey, I can play a 3-drop on turn 2. I'll keep. I've been debating sort of over the course of this league. Like, I feel like this is the sort of deck you really want to mulligan to an elf and a 3-drop. Yeah, the Winota. I've been feeling like this is the sort of deck where you probably want to aggressively mulligan to an elf, because I run the 8 elves, I run Llanowars and the Elvish Mystics, and some 3-drop, Rotting Regisaur, or yeah, it's what it feels like to me too, but it has not been working out terribly well. So I'm not sure if I'm just on the wrong end of variance or what exactly. I feel like I also really haven't gotten the hang of just like playing with the London Mulligan in general. Like, I feel like I probably didn't mulligan enough before the London Mulligan anyway. And obviously with the London Mulligan, Stomp, sure. Obviously with the London Mulligan, you want to be mulling more, especially in like older formats. So I'm really not sure. I mean, I don't play decks like Tron, which is like where you're like aggressively mulling to like 4 to try to hit whatever you're trying to hit. So I don't know. This doesn't trample. Why doesn't this trample? This feels like it should trample. I assume I want to do this. Pass. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why, like... Well, it's also because it also, like, you look at as many cards as the damage that you deal. So it feels like it's like if you block with a 2/2, if you jump with a 2/2, like, you only get to look at 2 cards. Like, because it works like that, it feels like it should have trample. I guess is kind of what I was thinking. I mean, like, yeah, maybe it would be too good if you get the trigger even if you chump block. Yeah, I don't know. I do at least here... Okay, so I get to play the Surrak and give haste. I'm wondering if I should try to hold back and get Galta into play somehow. That's probably too greedy. Yeah, I feel like I'm incentivized to just make my opponent want to trade when they're playing something like Winota that wants to have creatures on board attacking. So yeah, I think I just attack. Attack with all. I have not updated my cube in so long. You have Grug's Harbingers of your own. Interesting. Okay, this is actually excellent. I'll play this. I'll play this. Shadow Spear. I like the Noxus Grasp. Shadow Spear is... I feel like the only thing I have Fatal Push would be a land, like an elf. Shadow Spear definitely feels extra. I just don't know what this Great Henge... I just copied this list off, MTG Goldfish. I don't know what these Great Henges are here for. They feel very extra. They feel very win more. Like, Galta is at least a 12/12 that's going to attack you. But this... I mean, it's a good card. I don't know. Yeah, I think I just stick with this. Hasty Galta, pretty good. Yeah, I haven't, like, had a group of people to... and this gets the turn 2 Steel Leaf. I haven't really had a good group of people to cube with, so I haven't really had an incentive to keep up with the cube. So it's sort of frozen in time from, like, I don't know, 2015 or something. Just kind of interesting, I guess. But like, I'm sure there are a ton of cards. I mean, I'm sure there are a ton of cards in the last like year that would go really well on my cube. I could put like Oko in or something. What are we doing here? Stomp. I don't want to get stomped. Fine. I don't get the turn 2 5/4. I guess at least I get to Thoughtseize you. I mean, I assume it just has to be the Winota. Like, it's kind of tempting to take the PN Karen, just because PN Karen's good. But no, it just has to be the Winota, right? What sort of mirror match is this? I wonder if I play the Harbinger because I don't want the Harbinger to trade their Harbinger trade with our Steel Leaf. Because I think I definitely want to aggressively take every trade offered because this is a Winota deck. So I would rather trade off the Harbinger. Yeah, I can deal with being Karen. I think I was more just thinking of the first game when they played the P and Karen and then got all those triggers for the Winota. But, like, I don't have to worry about the triggers if there's no Winota. Kind of surprised my opponent is offering this trade. Like, I want to be trading off. Like, I feel like my opponent should want to keep their non-humans in play to trigger Winota. Maybe that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Like, maybe I'm the aggressive deck, and so my creatures are more valuable. I guess they are also playing a PN Karen, so they're gonna have 3 triggers if they hit a Winota. Sure. So they have a Tide Taker in hand. Okay. I can just play Stoic Champion. I guess they can play their Bonecrusher Giant to block. Yeah, well, it's once they hit their Winota that things get bad. I was debating. Please don't be a Winota. Oh, you're just shooting Lana Rails. I guess that makes a lot of sense. Sure. So Steel Leaf Champion can't be blocked by anything here. Except the Bonecrusher Giant, and Noxious Grasp doesn't get the Bonecrusher Giant. I, like, for 2 seconds thought about holding up Noxious Grasp in case they drew the Winota, but given that they have one card in hand that I know, although now I don't know what it is, but it's most certainly not a Winota at this point. Yeah, I mean, I get in my damage when I can because you can't block. I assume I want to play Elvish Mystic for the possibility of playing a Hasty Surrock. It does make me Noxious Grasp, but I don't think that's a line I can play towards. The other option is playing a Scrap Heap Scrounger. I actually don't hate that because Scrap Heap Scrounger can trade with anything they have. My opponent kind of has to block. I guess my Elvis Mystic just gets shot down by a Thopter, so I think I actually do play this Scrounger. Yeah. I don't really know the Winota lists, because, like, they run Winotas. I know they run Eldritch Evolution, because I saw that last game. Do they run any other ways to get out the Winota? Like, they don't run, like, Court of Calling, do they? This looks like a... Nope. That's a Winota. only 2 triggers, right? Because P and Kieran are humans, and that's a human. So there's like some possibility of whiffing. Well, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I guess even one of these was still lethal. But, yeah, okay. Fun times. 0 and 3. Yeah. I kind of like the design of Winota from a deck building point of view. That it encourages you to, like, find cheap non-humans and expensive humans. But the way it ends up working out in practice is less than ideal. Especially when Agent of Treachery was legal. Or, I guess Agent of Treachery is legal in Pioneer still. Do Pioneer Winota decks even run Agent of Treachery? I'm curious now. No, Winota. No, they didn't even run Agent of Treachery. Wait, so what humans do they even run? They run 4 Marauders, P and Kierans, and Tithe Takers? And that's it? Wow. That's, I mean, if you're digging on average, like, I wonder how many cards on average you, like, even if you dig 12 cards out of presumably, like, 48-ish because you played a few turns, like, on average, you're going to hit 1 Marauders in that. Yeah. Like, what are your, yeah, I know. Break out the calculator. Like, I wonder, I'm too lazy to figure out how to work it now, but, like, I'm curious what the odds of, like, what are the odds of hitting, say you have 50 cards left in your deck, 48, what are the odds of hitting 2 Marauders in 12 cards, in 2 triggers? Specifically in 2 triggers, like, not in 12 cards, because you could have 2 Marauders in 1 trigger and none in the other. But even, like, 1, because I counted that attack, even if they only hit 1 Marauder, that was still 20 damage. Yeah, these are the hands that I guess we're mulliganing. This hand plays a Ronus on turn 2. If Ronus pumping an Elvish Mystic would let the Ronus attack, I would definitely keep it. Oh man, this is disgusting. I think I have to mulligan this. Like, even if, like, just having 1 decent creature I don't think is good enough. This is not ideal. This is definitely not ideal. 42% squared? As in, like, 16% then? Right, sure. I can't even Thoughtseize you. Okay. Cool. I am not attacking my 1/1 in tier 1/2. I assume this is mono black aggro. I was thinking about playing mono black aggro today, but I don't know. I'm still in that, like, I like to play the sort of under the radar decks. Still no black mana for Regisar. Yeah. I guess I should have attacked. Oops, I speed a point. Oh no, this is like mono black vampires. Okay. 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 Attacks defending player discards a card. When a card is put in opponent's graveyard from anywhere. Okay. I think I will not show my opponent anything more about my deck. Vampires. Fatal Push seems good here. I don't know the deck well enough to know if Chamber Sanctuary is going to be good. Noxious Grasp seems very bad. Shadow Spirit seems like it could be good. I'm just going to call these Grey Hinges again. Am I just like completely misevaluating Great Henge in this deck? It just feels very win more. Like, even if you have like a Steel Leaf Champion in play, it still costs 4 mana to play, which is expensive. It's like the life gain is irrelevant. Adding mana seems, I mean, sure, okay, it taps for 2. And like you're drawing cards. Like it just seems hard enough to get into play that it seems like if you're getting into play, it's, yeah. I mean, like, it's a good card clearly, but like this feels like something a deck that's much more mid-rangey should be running. A deck that like can be making use of drawing all the cards. I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been having all these very dysfunctional hands where things are not coming together that it feels bad. But like it just feels to me like if this is a deck where you need things to be coming together to be playing your 3 drops on turn 2. Like, okay, playing against vampires, I have a Fatal Push for a vampire. I have a Heart of Kiran, which I think will be pretty good. I think I can keep this. I'm also just sick of mulliganing. I will play this untapped. Sure. I wonder if playing that untapped is wrong. Feels fine. Right on time. Given that yeah, given that I haven't drawn a land, I think I play the elves and pass. I really wanted to Fatal Push like a Knight of the Ebon Legion. I'm not even gonna waste my time on that. Might rather play the Harbinger. No, the Harbingers get chumped. I'll play an unblockable creature instead. I mean, I feel like that gets really mind-gamey. Like, I'm obviously telegraphing Fatal Push. And, like, this is a matchup where I'm not going to take 2 damage for no reason. Like, it's not like this is a control matchup where you can just sort of shock against them anyway. Like, I feel like if I were the vampire player and I had the Knight of the Ebon Legion, I think I would have held it. Like, I just, because the chance of them having fatal, because if I shock Overgrown Tomb, from the vampire's point of view, I think I'm very, very close to 0% to not have Fatal Push. I mean, I guess if you think that you just need to get the Fatal Push out of my hand, like I guess I don't know what else is in the Vampire's deck, but I feel like it makes sense to not. I would have not played a Knight of the Ebon Legion if I had it in that situation. That I can push. Can I push that? Sure, seems fine. I mean, it doesn't block Steely Champion, but still seems fine. Okay. Am I attacking with Llanowar Elves? I assume not, because I play Scrounger Heart of Kirin, unless I would rather play a Harbinger. I don't think I want to do that, though, so we'll just swing with the 5/4. Does it matter what I play first? Don't think so. Okay, this is probably like the best start I've had in almost any of my games with this deck. I should look up what this Vampire's deck actually does. Really don't know what they do. Decks. Metagame. Yeah, I mean, they do look like they have a kind of anemic start. What happened? You may sacrifice a vampire. When you do... okay. Okay, well I assume I want to kill this thing. I don't know if I've ever seen that second ability used. Okay, yeah, let's just play this. They can't push my Steely Champion. It's fine. Done. Attack Sorin, attack opponent, attack opponent. Whenever drawn, it deals combat damage to a player. Okay, okay, sure. So I can Thought Seize you here. Okay, sure. Scrap Heap. Crew. Attack with all but not you, and do I care about a Mutavault blocking? I don't think so. Sure. Seems fine to me. Okay. Things actually went well. Nope, seems fine. Alright, back to trying to find this vampire deck. Mono black vampires, there it is. Knight, Zealot, Aetherborn. This is not a vampire. This is not the same list though, because the list we played had that, it was like a buy a box promo. Had the 6 mana thing that, I don't remember what it did. Makes me discard a card. But that's the stock MTG Goldfish list, I guess. Yep, I mean, we don't have, well, I don't have the second lane I need to play the Harbinger on time. I also don't have black mana. Yeah, I guess this is just what you mulligan. This is disgusting. Sure. Okay, this is actually pretty okay. Put this back, and I guess I put a Mystic back. Yeah, I guess it just has to be land Mystic. If they push my Mystic, I'm very sad, but like, I don't think it makes sense to put a 3-drop back. I think it just has to be that. Yeah. Oh well. Now I should put a 3-drop back. Oh well. Yeah, must be wrong. Yeah, and there's the push. You know, I really should just, like, given that I have a Mana Draves account, I really should just, like, play the best decks. Oops, I didn't mean to pass priority, but I don't have anything I can do. I'm, like, definitely much more of a Johnny sometimes in that I try to play the weird decks. This deck, I get the sense, is definitely not the top of the format. I should just be playing, like, Niptolite or something. Oh boy. You only have 2 lands, though. So... and you have double Fatal Push. I mean, I think my out to win is to hope that you don't draw lands, so I think the only thing I take is a castable spell, and... I mean, Noxious Grasp doesn't hit Rotting Regisaur. Rotting Regisaur just dies to Gifted Aetherborn. But you have 2 Fatal Pushes. So maybe my out is to take the Noxious Grasp, play Steely Champion, which can't be blocked by Gifted Aetherborn. Don't know if that was right. How much worse is push without fetch? I think it depends a lot on the meta. Like, I think even in Modern it would still be pretty... like, in a hypothetical world where fetches were banned in Modern, I still think push would be great in Modern because there are enough, you know, like, Goblin Guides and stuff that are running around. In current Pioneer meta, I really don't... did not mean to F6, although, again, I didn't draw anything I can cast. I don't know what... and probably nobody really even knows what the Pioneer meta is going to settle into. Yeah, okay, we're just dead. Yeah, I had so much fun in those. I played a lot of Pioneer those first couple months, first month or so. Tried really hard to make Jeskai Ascendancy work. Couldn't figure that out. I tried to brew my own blue-black control deck. I might go back to that now. I found that at least pre any of the bans, you basically couldn't run control when Field of the Dead was legal, because any sort of deck where all of your cards are 3/2/2 zombies, including your lands, doesn't work at all. I played Ascendancy. I played Ascendancy in Modern even when it was supposed to be bad, and I thought it was perfectly serviceable. Like everybody was like, when they banned Treasure Cruise, everybody was like, this deck is dead, and I kept playing it with Ideas Unbound instead of Treasure Cruise, and I thought it was totally fine. In fact, in some ways, I thought Ideas Unbound was actually better than Treasure Cruise because it let you dig for your combo before you had cards in your graveyard to be fueling Treasure Cruise. When you were comboing off, it was draw 3 just the same as Treasure Cruise. It just cost an extra mana, which sometimes was hard to get, but by and large you could usually get it. And also it let you pitch your Fate Stitchers in the graveyard pre-combo. So I thought the deck was totally fine. I would have played it more if it weren't for all the clicking you have to do on MTGO. But I really liked that. I really liked that. The nail in the coffin for me with that deck was when they banned Gitaxian Probe, because a lot of the time, in order to start the combo, you needed to like play the Ascendancy and then play the Gitaxian Probe for free to untap your mana dork to start going off, and just that one extra mana that you lose without having Gitaxian Probe just made the deck not really work. I know some people still play it in Modern with like, I don't know what all exactly they do it with, but I just feel like the deck became very not good without Probe. But yeah, I am curious to see what's going to end up on top in Modern, or in Pioneer. I've seen a lot of the mono black aggro deck that was still sort of around pre all the bans. Probe was really dumb. I've like, I don't think Wizards ever will do this, or not even necessarily should do this, but I would be totally fine with them just like blanket banning all the Phyrexian mana in Modern. Like, mutagenic growth just doesn't need to exist. Dismember just doesn't need to. Like, 1 mana -5/5 just doesn't need to exist. Okay, if you want to pull out the hypergeometric calculator, I want to know the odds of having the 7-card hand with a turn 2 3-drop in this deck, because it is not coming up very often here. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this. I mean, even without going by that heuristic, it's a 1-lander. I know it doesn't do that, but like, I mean, it's still like calculatable, right? This hand doesn't do anything. Well, that's a turn 2 thing. Put back Register because we don't have black, and Scrounger, I guess. This is probably like actually the best 5-card hand we could hope for. I mean, it's because you're. It's the odds of any two lands, and at least 1 out of 8 mana dorks, and at least 1 out of like what 12 or 16 or however many 3-drops you have. It's been a long time since I've really done like whatchamacallit, probability, but that feels doable. Phyrexian mana now costs an additional 3 per symbol and can be paid only during your mana phase, your main phase. Yeah, I mean that would do it. This is, I guess, Naya Winota again. I'm going to lean towards Steely Champion being better because it can't be blocked and deals more damage. I'm really surprised they went with that errata. That just doesn't make sense to me. It's just so unintuitive. I'm also surprised that companions have been played as little as they have been. Like, I really feel like every Yorion deck that existed before the errata should just be able to be played exactly as it was, no change. Like, those decks don't care about 3 mana. Especially when you can play it across turns. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play those decks, so I guess I'm clearly just missing something, but it seems really strange to me. Like, I completely understand why nobody plays the Lurrus decks anymore, because adding an extra 3 mana onto doing all of that. Yeah, it's... I mean, Modern basically became entirely Lurrus and Winota and Yorion decks, which... Hey, it's a Winota. Oh, yeah. That's... Yeah. SCG was doing really well for a while. Also, just a lot of the stuff I watch isn't tournaments. It's just, like, SCG does, Okay, what is this? So, 2, 3, 4, 8. So this is for 16. Okay. And this is indestructible. Why is this indestructible? It gains indestructible until I'm sure. Okay. The source you deal. So I can take 16, I can go to 4. There's no way I can play Surok plus Galta next turn. If I draw Surok... I don't have lethal. Do I have any out here? This would take 12, I would go to 8. I could block this. I mean, I can't... I don't see a line where I win next turn, so I think I have to actually play defensively. Yeah, a lot of the Magic content I consume nowadays is not like tournament coverage. It's just streams or like produced YouTube content. Like a lot of the CFB videos they put out. I really like the SCG Versus series. I just really like hearing all their... Ooh, this actually lets me cast Galta. Yeah, wow. I might still die, but that's fine. Can I attack? Can I attack? If I attack with Steel Leaf, I block Winota, block Marauders, take 6. If they have nothing. But they're also getting 2 Thopter triggers. I mean, I think I just have to assume that those aren't going to get me anything, so I think I actually do attack with 1. Yeah, SCG Versus I really like because they do a really good job at talking out their lines, and I just find it really informative, even more so than just like watching streamers. Legion War Boss, which is going to create a 1/1 haste, and so I'm dead to the 1/1s anyway. Okay. Curious to see if I would have died to a Marauders anyway. Digging 24 cards deep. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Winota. What did I do against Winota? I think I brought in Noxious Grasp to deal with actual Winota. Did I leave 2 henges in? I don't remember. I feel like Fatal Pushing... I feel like Fatal Push isn't going to do a lot against them. Maybe I left 2 henges in. Or did I bring Shadow Spears in? Shadow Spear doesn't really feel like it does anything. I definitely did miss GP coverage too, though. It was weird too, because like I still went to a few GPs after they ended coverage, and it was just so weird for there to like not be coverage. Like there was that I think it was in New Jersey. I guess you were probably there too. Maybe, I don't know. But it was like right after the end of GP coverage, and there was a picture that was going on around Reddit of like the top 8 draft. That was just like happening at some random table, and everyone was like, "This is awful." But like, yeah, I mean, I definitely felt that as an attendee too. That like it was really lame to go there when like I had no chance of being on camera, when there wasn't hullabaloo about pro players being on stream or whatever. But they're trying to do the online arena stuff. This actually seems like a fine hand. I can try to stop them from getting Winota. I don't have anything to clear the Heart of Kieran now, but presumably they'll find something. I think I can tuck a land. Instead, everything's all arena and paying people who stream. Hence, I'm streaming. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I definitely have times when I come and go. I've been a lot more into it recently, obviously. Hence, you know, I'm streaming. I guess I probably should just play the Overgrown Tomb instead. Thought sees you, see what you have. Take the Winota. Take the Winota this turn. I guess technically I should take the Evolution this turn, because you could cast it. Not that I think you're going to cast it. Whatever, I'll stick with Winota. Still maintaining the cube, yeah. I don't like... I don't follow it religiously, like... But I definitely have a sense of what's going on. Honestly, like... I kind of am sad that I didn't play in some of the broken formats that people complain about. Like, I'm sure they were bad for, you know, competitive integrity and got repetitive for most people. But, like, I would also love to play a lot of these broken decks, like, once or twice, especially when I have access to a rental service. Or, like, an arena account with a lot of cards. Like, I was really interested in playing Nexus in Historic on Arena, because I'm that sort of degenerate person who would love to play a Nexus of Fate deck and play with myself for 10 minutes. And, like, you know, I know that deck is awful and bad for the game overall. I still would have liked to play it for, you know, a little while. So I'm casting a Steel Leaf Champion. Do I crew the heart and attack? I feel like I'm not really in a position to trade 4 damage for 4 damage. I guess I could block a Tithe Taker. No, I'll play defensively. Of course you drew Winota. You have only the Lawnmower Elves, though. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Well, we'll trade off. I mean, I'm also just a degenerate person who likes playing degenerate decks in general. Like, I played KCIL when that was a deck in Modern. I love that deck. Ooh, that's good. That's pretty good. Oh, shoot. This is a spirit. As in, not a human. Okay. So you're only going to get one trigger. So I think I need to... Yeah, I just need to attack. Yeah. I don't know. What do you do instead of Magic nowadays? Have you moved over to one of the other card games, or Legend of Runeterra or something? Let's see, I got in for 9. You get another trigger. I guess I chump your Winota. Well, okay. You didn't find a Marauders. So I think you're actually probably just dead on the crackback. So I think in that case... 7? I think I just take 7. Does this deck run like Shocks? I guess they probably run Giant. Okay, you're scooping. Can actually see some value in Shadow Spears. Got to a bit of a race there. I've been watching a bunch of Hearthstone Battlegrounds on Twitch. I find that pretty interesting. I don't find it as interesting to play. I really enjoyed watching it, though. See if we can not go 0-5. Sure, that's the turn too. Hobby programming, 3D printing, yeah. I found a it's like an AI competition I got linked to from a friend that's, I guess, inspired by some sort of AI competition that MIT does every periodically. But it's basically they give you a turn-based strategy game and you build an AI to play it, and it's this year it's all like COVID themed, and you know there's zombies and the infectious disease and the vaccine and stuff. So I've been doing that for the last couple weeks, and that's interesting. Where is it? This is the link if you want to look at it. This is what I'm doing. What are you doing? This is my deck. Cut it out. Yeah, I've been having some fun with that. I cannot Noxious Grasp this. Is there any merit to Thought Seizing you this turn? Probably not. Yeah, it's been fun poking around. It's they do it in up to teams of 4. So like I have no delusions that I'm going to do particularly well just by myself. It also ends in like on Sunday, and I'm very far off of having a particularly functional AI. I think my current version at some point, all my units just freeze for no discernible reason, and I haven't gotten around to debugging why. So I definitely have some work to go on that front. These Noxious Grasps do not match up well against Guruk's Harbinger. Yeah, that was the current leading team. Yeah. Trollolololol. Okay. I guess I'm interested in trading off so my opponent gets fewer Winota triggers in the theoretical future. Of course, this is letting my opponent dig towards a Winota. Legion Warboss. Actually, I wonder what the right line was there. Maybe I should have blocked the Harbinger instead. Noxious Grasp does not kill that. Okay. I think I'd probably Noxious Grasp that at this point. Just, again, fewer Winota triggers, not that I think it'll make a difference. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like my whole deck is extremely anemic, honestly. I guess I should probably try to stop you from finding Winota. I mean, it's something. It's funny how all those creatures that just like have some random hexproof or protection, like how often that feels like it pops up. I know, like, every time I see Stormbreath Dragon, I feel like every time I see a Stormbreath Dragon on the opposite side of the table from me, I just like always have a Path to Exile in my hand. I'm like, why do you have protection from white? So, anyway, this was mono green / green black Stompy. I-105. I'd be really curious to hear from people, if anybody like actually knows if like you are just supposed to mulligan to a 1-drop and a turn 2 3-mana creature in this deck. It's definitely not getting there for me today. Maybe there's something to it I'm missing. But I definitely felt like this was pretty underpowered and probably not something I'll look to in the future. So, yeah, that's mono green Stompy.